Hi, I'm Ted Bound from TruLog Siding. Today we're going to show you how to install our board and bat siding. I'm going to start with the window here. I already have a couple pieces installed, and I'll show you how it goes. For the side windows, you measure the height and you add 2 inches, which I already have done on here. So on the bottom portion, you want to leave a flap here to fold up under. So I'm just going to cut a flap out here. Cut a little pieces out, give it a little room to bend. Then on the top, I want to cut the whole piece out.
Yep.
Just flare it out. Take your drill, screw it in. Once you've done that, then you want to pull this, take this flap and bend it around. Get your pliers in here, tight to the J, and as you see, when I bend this around, it pulls it tight to the window. Once it's in there, you crush it with your pliers. And that gives you no sharp edges to be cut on. Okay, now for the top, you want to do the same thing, except for you're going to do 2 inches on both ends, cut a flap so it folds down into the side J's. Now the flap on the top, or the face of the J, goes over the side J's. Get it in place. Put a screw in. Now your flap needs to be bent down on both sides. If you need to, you can take your claw hammer, tap it in, make sure it's tight. Now I'll cut a little bit of the face off here. Take your pliers once again. Get it tight to this J here, and you fold it around. And then you use the pliers to crush it. That pulls this J in and makes everything nice and tight and no sharp edges. And then all you have to do is tape off the top so no water gets in behind it if you have a 2-story house. Now that we have our window completed with the J channel, I'm going to show you how to do our board and bat starter L angle here with a J channel. So this, just imagine this is your deck or your front porch. You're doing an elevation change here, and this is the L angle. So we're going to start with the J channel. You want to bring that up the side. Mark where you want it cut. Flare it so it fits nice and tight. Put it in your location. Put a screw in it. Now we have our L angle here, so all the board and bat will sit on top of this. It also keeps the water from going behind your deck or your porch. And you put that in there. I cut this and notched the section out here so the batten can come over and go down into the J channel. Once we have that done, then we take our Tyvek tape to seal that area off so no water gets behind it. All right, so now we have that side done. We're gonna do the same thing here. Put the J channel up. I'm gonna mark where our starter is there. And then I'll mark it all the way around, get a nice smooth cut. Take your snips, cut there. And then install it. Now that we have our starter installed, now we're going to finish our inside corner. If you look here, I've already installed one piece tied to the old house or the new part that you're doing. The next one's going to butt to it. So you cut it to length and you flare it just like we do everything else, so we get a nice tight fit against the wall and against the other J channel. We'll go down on top of the starter like this. Once we have it in position, we'll put our screws in. Now that the inside corner's done, we're going to put our top J channel in. That'll receive all the siding. And now I'll show you the transition from one level to another. We'll put a J channel in here now. Now that I have my piece cut out with the tab, it's ready to install for the transition here. It'll slide in behind. We want to get it tight. Take our flap here and fold it up under. And then, once again, we curl our J around the face and flatten it out. So everything's nice and tight and no sharp edges. Now I'm going to install the other side. Okay, now that all the trim work is done, I'm going to show you how to install the siding into this corner. Once you have it cut to length, you want to slide this up into the J channel and then over the bottom starter and then into the corner and then screw it off. Okay, now to continue the row or the siding, you want to slide it into place, and this bottom lock is going to lock into this top one here, and then you'll screw that panel in place. Now for cutting the window here, we want to measure from the top down, from the top of the window to the bottom of the window, and transfer those measurements over to the siding. Then we want to measure from our lock here to the inside of the window, J channel. We have 4 3/8. Now we have it marked, we can go ahead and cut it. Now we have it cut. You want to slide this in carefully and go behind the top and bottom J channel. And lock it in place. And then we'll continue the process. Now we have these two pieces in. We'll measure and cut for the other side of the window. 76. Now this one might be easier to slide up in, set it down on the bottom starter, and you can mark where the J channel needs to be cut out. Once you have that marked, then you can hook on. You want to measure right to the inside of this side J channel, which would probably be about 8.5. And you want to measure the bottom the same way to the inside of this J channel. Okay, now that you have this cut, you want to install the top in and into your J. Use the rubber end of your hammer if you need to. Now that it's in, you can install your screws. Okay, now we have this piece in. We have an elevation change here at the bottom, and I'll show you how to go ahead and mark that. What I like to do is, if you can, slide this up into the top J, bring it down on top of the starter here. Then you can mark where the change is. I'll pull that out, take my tape, and I'll measure from the lock over to where the transition is. We have 1.5 inches. So I'll mark it here, and we're going to have to cut that 1.5 inches out of this panel here. And then we can mark it and cut it. Just continue the siding all the way to the other wall or to the end of the wall. Now we have these pieces in. I'll show you what we do when we go from the main level to a second level or to a gable. Here we're going to put in a piece of transition metal. So I'm just going to roughly measure, need about 20 inches. Okay, basically the transition metal is just a piece of Z metal that we make. This will cover the bottom parts of the siding. So that'll just go up like this. So it covers your cuts, and then you can continue your board and bat right above the other ones. So when you continue into your next level or your gable, that lets the water run over. So what you want to do is cut your material so your battens line up, and then screw it into place. So then your next piece, when you lock it in, will line up with the other piece. And you'll just continue the process down the wall. All right, now that we have this wall completed, now we're going to continue on this wall until we get to the corner. Now we get to the corner here, we're going to have a partial piece. So I'm going to measure that and we'll get it cut. Now that you can see, we didn't end up with a batten, and there's quite a bit of a gap here. So what I ended up doing is I'll take another piece and I'll cut the batten off right here. So you'll end up with a piece like this. And the cut edge we'll put towards the corner and install it. So what you want to do is take a small drill, drill a series of holes, and then put a small trim nail in there. Now we're ready to put the corner on. Now we have our corner cut. You want to lock it on. Slide it down into place. Once you have it in place, even with the siding in the bottom, you'll put a Tech screw in the bottom and then just touch up these little white nails and you have a complete job. This is how you install our board and bat siding. If you have any questions with your installation, please give us a call. Thank you.